just to know that when I'm completely obnoxious, I'm either landing jokes or not landing jokes. Hopefully they don't land, but who knows? Who knows? All right. Who here has studied I'm going to mute some of you guys. Who here has studied what the Catalyst Home is inside of our portal? We have some guests here, you guys, today. So we do have some guests here. So if you're a guest and you don't know what the Catalyst Home is, I'm going to give you guys the overview, and then it's going to be Q&A. Please think about what you guys want to ask me about the buyer's presentation, buyer's conversations. Don't ask me about listings. I'm not going to answer your questions about listings today. This is all about buyers. If you don't have any questions about buyers, I have a lot of work I can do. And so I can just leave early, and that's fine by me. But today is all about buyers. Cool. Can we do pinky swears? Pinky promises? Okay. I see him. Awesome. All right. So what's the Catalyst Home, everybody? What's the purpose of the Catalyst Home?
To get the conversation started?
So the Catalyst Home is to get the conversation. And if you guys notice in my presentation, we start talking about the Catalyst Home after like 30 minutes of process conversations, right? And the reason why we don't go right into it is because what most agents do is what? So when an agent sits down with you, what do most agents do?
Talk about pre-approvals.
Talk about pre-approvals, right, Phil? What else do they do?
Talk about themselves. What are you looking for?
They talk about the house. Hey, what are you looking for, right? What else do they do?
Talk about themselves.
Talk about themselves, right? They talk about how cool they are. They talk about how they know the neighborhood so well, right? And we're doing this to try to build value and credibility. But when the doctor comes in, you guys, and I'm going to use the doctor frame because it's what I use with my team a lot. When the doctor comes in, does the doctor automatically have authority, or does the doctor need to prove authority to you when the doctor says, all right, pants off, put the gown on, and let's go ahead and start examining, does this hurt? Does that hurt? Does this hurt? Does that hurt? Does the doctor need to ask for your permission? Well, in today's day, they do, because a bunch of weird shit happens. But here in Colombia, where I live, the doctor just tells you what to do and then just get to work. How it used to be. But now in the US, things are weird. So, you guys have to get permission for everything. But does the doctor need permission to tell you what to do? Or does the doctor just take that authority right out of the gate?
They have authority.
And do we give them that authority? What do we do as salespeople? Thank you for letting me come over. Oh my God, I'm so appreciative of you giving me time today. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to and we instantly, that's why when we go into appointments, our status is low with people. It's because we gave them, right? We gave them weakness. And the reason why we give them weakness is because we don't follow a process. The reason we don't follow a process is because we were never taught, right? So it's not your fault, but it's your problem. And if you guys aren't going through the school like if you guys aren't going through it, right, then you're going to continue to feel like you're doing them a favor, or that you're going to feel like they're doing you a favor. But in reality, you're actually the one doing them a favor, right? Karin did a presentation for somebody yesterday. It's his third house that they're buying. These aren't cheap houses either. These are probably nice houses, right? Probably 700-ish thousand, if not more. And he said, because you actually spent time with me, it was the first time in my 3 homes that anybody's ever done this, I actually want you to sell my home as well. Because process creates confidence. So the Catalyst Home is used for one simple reason. It's a benchmark. Write that down. Unless you're driving, then don't write. Just look at the road. Keep looking at the road. Just the road, nothing else, just the road. The Catalyst Home is used as the benchmark. So the way we use the Catalyst Home, and we got this, Sean and I got this from our buddy James Grant out of Washington, D.C. Super great dude. So if you guys don't know him, your loss. It's the benchmark, right? Because here's what you guys do. Maybe not you guys, but here's what the industry does. Hey, I'm going to send you a bunch of properties. And when you see something that works, you call me. Anybody ever said that to a prospect? I'm going to send you a list of homes. When you see something you like, call me. Oh, nobody's ever said that in this room?
Me.
Y'all smoking crack over there. I've heard your calls. We own a call center, damn it. You think I haven't heard the 97% of calls that are all the same?
I said me.
Agents say, right? I'm going to send you a list of homes. And then when you see something you like, go ahead and call me. And you consider that value. But how do you know what they're looking for? Because they told you they want a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house in a certain neighborhood and they want it recently renovated. Do you know how many things that can mean? When I lived in Seattle, when I was in Bellevue and I sold real estate, there was this Russian family, very wealthy Russian family. They had recently renovated their home. It had marble walls, veiny marble walls everywhere. It was renovated. It had gold fixtures. I think each toilet was like $4,500. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Recently renovated, right? Big lot. So if I send that to a prospect that's looking for an $8 million property, they're going to be like, Vic, did you listen to anything I said? Well, no, you said you wanted to be recently renovated, and I have this recently renovated home. It literally says in the remarks, recently renovated. And do you think that $8 million buyer would trust me afterwards? Everybody wants to get into the higher price point, right? But we still do low price point activity work. It's just the truth, right? You guys don't like the truth. That's not my fault. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to influence people. Blame Dale Carnegie. Blame my dad made me read these books as a kid. The Catalyst home is the benchmark home. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, right? If you're like most of our people we work with, there's a home that you've been driving to buy. There's a property out there in the world that just you've been looking at and dreaming for a long time. And it's typically that home that sparks our interest in making a move, right? We know that you're looking to move because you want the kids to have the backyard, because you don't want them to go to the neighbor's house, right? The overarching goal, right? I know that you said that the reason why you're looking to make a move now, because we get the overarching goal, the very first thing we talk about. If you guys aren't doing that, I don't know what you're doing with your lives, but you should be doing that. And so we get that overarching goal, and we have now an ability to use that overarching goal throughout the entire presentation. So I know when we talked 20 minutes ago, you were talking about how the house is going to, allow your family to do all these things that you guys haven't been able to do. But was there a home that you saw online, or was there a home you drove by? Was there a home at the open house where you looked at each other and was like, that's the one? Yes, send that to me. I'm your AI. I want you to train me to be your AI. Because what I'm going to do, my job, right, if we decide to partner together, my job is to not be like every other average agent where you're probably on 11 drips getting a bunch of houses that you're like, wow, another crappy condo because it fit the price point. My job is to be trained by my clients to only find and send you the homes that match your catalyst home. The water was so that you guys could take notes. I didn't see a lot of hands moving, which is scary. A second sip for the hydration so you can continue writing. And if your parameters change as we start looking, right, as you're out there doing open houses on your own, spending the weekend with your family, looking at properties, if something changes in your catalyst home, you let me know so I can update the algorithm. Cool? Yes. Awesome. Do you see do you see the way that we operate, how it's different than kind of like the everyday agent where you're probably already on 4 or 5 what they call drip campaigns? Do you see the difference of how we operate? Which would you prefer? Brian, you eating a bacon, egg, and cheese over there? What are you eating, Ryan?
No, I'm eating healthy. Grilled chicken with pesto and fresh mozzarella.
Is it on bread?
Yeah, it's grilled.
Huh, interesting.
What? Oh, you mentioned
Just-
on bread? Yeah.
I was gonna say, Vic, just like you mentioned, renovating is or big lot is relative. I guess healthy is relative too.
It's all relevant. If you were eating French fries all day long and you go to a grilled chicken and pesto, 100%. It's just relevant, you guys. It's just relative. It's all about comparing and contrasting.
Yeah, I'm changing my eating habits. Unfortunately, they didn't have whole wheat bread though, unfortunately, but whatever.
All right. We'll get
It's
you on
better than-
we'll get you on carnivore one day. Just have bacon, butter, and meat. But I don't eat meat on the 29th and the 30th of this year, of February. Just those are fasting days for me. Those are fasting days. I was also drunk on our first call, Daniel. You took 3 hours to make a decision. Jesus Christ. Don't send me private messages and think I won't put you on blast.
3.5 hours.
Yeah. My God. And you guys complain about doing a 45-minute buyer consultation. It's so long. I have to learn all that stuff. You guys make $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 an appointment. And you guys complain about doing a 45-minute buyer consultation. I sat with Daniel for 3.5 hours, 2 burgers and 6 beers. It was a lot. Finally, I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. We're just going to go into it. I was like, if we're not going to make a sale, we may as well have a TED Talk moment. No comments. And you guys are scared to learn a 45-minute presentation to help people with the biggest decision of their life. Pay me a couple grand. You guys complain about a 45-minute conversation. Like, how egotistical is that? It's crazy to me. But you do you. You do you. At 17, I learned a presentation longer than the buyer presentation to sell somebody a $1,000 set of knives. You guys do you. How you want to run your life and your business is up to you. But if you don't have the buyer and seller presentation, don't complain if you don't have business. And if you piecemeal and hodgepodge yours because you went to a portal and you found a bunch of things that you liked, I hope you never have to go up against a Triz agent because they will crush you. I don't say that like egotistically. I just say that because the process we built is so much better. Every word in there is lamented over. The flow, the way we do this and that, and tie down questions. All of it is just so you just can't beat it. You just can't beat it unless you're going up against somebody who just, happens to know this presentation as well, and they're just better at delivering it than you. And then game recognized game, like all fun, right? You're not going to win them all, but damn, it sucks to lose the ones that you could have won. All right. Any questions around the Catalyst Home? That's all I got. I told you I was going to do 15 minutes of Catalyst Home, and then we open up to Q&A. Q&A. If you guys don't have any Qs, my A is going to work. You like that? You guys like that?
Yeah,
You guys like that?
That was good. That was good.
That was good. That was.
Corny but good.
I'm 43. What do you expect, Ryan?
Yeah, so by the way, these questions, are they only for the Catalyst Home, or could they be for the buyer presentation as well?
Buyer, anything that has to do with buyers. If you ask me anything about sellers, I'm going to kick you out of the room.
Gotcha. Okay, so regarding for the buyer presentation, I actually, I'm curious about this one. I think I might have asked you this before, but I'm going to ask it again just to get a clear answer.
Repetition is the mother of all skill.
Yeah, there are times where I'm going through the entire buyer presentation one-on-one,
Yeah.
and it's taking me an hour and a half for me to get through. That is way too long.
Yeah.
It's got to be 45 minutes to an hour. Do you
Why?
think it's just a lot of stuff to provide? It's a lot of stuff
But
to go through.
He was just saying though that, I mean, his sales calls with us are like 3 hours.
Well,
Like-
not all of
Yeah.
them, but some of them. I mean, Christina was
Yeah.
on the phone with me for an hour and 27 minutes.
Right, but to your point, it's important, and it's gonna sometimes take that long, right? Especially if they have questions.
Yeah, it happens to me, Ryan, but I feel like we are more like presenting because it's so much to like deliver that it could be like a little bit boring for them. But yeah, I'm in the same boat with Ryan. It takes
Yeah,
too long.
like there was a presentation I had, and the guy had 45 minutes, and he had to
Okay.
go back to work. And
So,
I couldn't
do
get through
you
the
know where
presentation.
to cut the presentation?
Well, the things that are necessary that I feel that must be talked about must be
Like what?
are agreements and power players, the
Okay.
four-phased approach,
Okay. Overarching
and
goal,
the seller leaders. Oh, and that's what that goes without saying.
right?
Overarching goal, agreements and power players, and the four-phased approach. I feel that they're the most important parts of the presentation.
What about the pricing and the market dynamics?
I feel like it's important, but that could be a secondary call. I feel like that could be a secondary call. Or do you feel differently? I mean,
So for me, right, and this is where everybody's going to be different. For me, I want to know how we buy a home. I want to know the market dynamics of a home. I want to know what the upsides and the downsides of buying a home are, because I want to show where my true expertise come in. So I want to show why if they don't use me and they go to Redfin, my number one competitor was Redfin. Our number one competitor was Redfin. It was never another agent, right? We never competed against other agents. We competed against Redfins. We competed against the discounters, right? We competed against the 1%ers. Some of them were 0.5%, right? Like, you don't get a badge of honor from me if the reason why you sell a lot of houses is because you just instantly lowered your commission, or on your website you use what would be considered in the industry a discount commission. Like, you don't get a badge of honor because you sell a lot of houses because people come to you because you're less expensive. Like, being Walmart isn't fancy to me, right? Like, and if that's your business model, like, that is totally cool. Be the best Walmart you can be. But I'm not impressed because I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to sell to poor mindset people. It's a lot of work. I don't have that kind of energy. I can't do that.
Can I ask a clarification to
6 times a
Ryan?
day. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, Ryan, are you with them face to face, or are you talking about being on a phone call with them?
Oh, face to face, buyer presentation in the door.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's gonna take as long as it takes. I mean, you're giving them their most valuable, biggest asset that they're gonna be buying, and it's like, hey, we'll talk all day long if you want to go over it. And
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm aware of that. I'm talking about for the people that only have like 30 to 45 minutes.
So,
yeah, but if you're providing for them and you're giving them value, they're gonna be like, that 30, 45 minutes is gonna be like, okay, well, we'll keep going.
so Scott brings up a good thing here. So when he sits down, is it 45 minutes because he has to go pick up his kid, or is it 45 minutes because he's like, all I have is 45 minutes?
No, it's because they have a legitimate reason. They gotta go back to work
Okay.
and, well,
So,
like they have a legitimate
so
reason.
you frame it like this. Hey guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a brief presentation. However, there is a lot of stuff that we have to cover. So if we don't cover it all, is it okay if we book in a secondary meeting? Because what most people think is that buying and selling a home is very simple. In fact, it's actually one of the most complex, nuanced, and I don't know if you guys are trust fund babies. I'm not. It's probably one of the most expensive transactions you're going to ever have. So if we need to book in a little bit of time afterwards, is that cool? Yes. Because like I'm with Scott. I'm like, yo, we've sat in buyer presentations for 40 minutes and we've sat there for 2.5 hours. And both were fine with us. Now, if we had to go and we had to cut it short on our end, then we booked in a second appointment. If they had to go and they had to cut it short on their end, we booked in a second appointment. But I'm with Scott, you guys. Like, I don't rush processes. The process is the process. And the reason why the process works so well and you have such a high conversion rate and you have such a high offer acceptance rate and you have such high trust when you say, hey, you need to write this offer and it's going to be 13% higher than the list price and you're going to have zero contingencies. And the reason why you can do that on the fly and have those hard conversations on the phone is because you spent more time than other people. You're all going to spend the time, I promise you, one thing or the other, right? I agree with Scott 100%. You're all going to spend the time. Some of you are going to spend time writing 3 offers and looking at 40 homes. Some of you guys are going to spend an extra 45 minutes on that first meeting. But if you have to cut things out, like the 4-phase approach, I like. But I'm going to talk about pricing strategy. I'm going to go over an offer case study. Like I'm going to go over an offer case study. I'm going to go over the offer case study, right? It's not a matter of if, it's I'm going to go over the offer case study.
Yeah, well, I again, I could be wrong, but with the offer case study, I put that in the 4-phase approach.
Okay, so you see how everybody does things a little bit differently. So like,
yeah, I feel like the 4-phase approach, we're going through that process, so I might as well show the case studies in the 4-phase approach.
And so you're already doing some of the stuff. I'm going to talk about offer structures, right? You guys might be doing it in a slightly different order, but you're getting the information out. I'm going to talk about an offer structure, right? I'm going to talk about the components of the structure, right? I'm going to talk about what happens after an offer is accepted. I'm going to talk about if they have any outs, because my clients didn't and yours might not, right? So I'm going to talk either about an inspection or a pre-inspection, right? If I'm living in a state like where Scott and Sal and maybe Stokes, Thomas, you, Ryan, right? You guys are in attorney states where you guys have a 3-day attorney review. I'm going to be talking about that. Edwin, yeah, Edwin does too in Chicago. Yeah, you're with Stokes. 5 days, oh my God, 5 days. I'd leave that state right away. 5 days. Deals can
It's
fall
1 to
apart.
2 weeks for us.
Like, you see, so how do you not have that conversation with the buyer? How do you not explain to them that you can get bumped? How do you not have that conversation with them? Like, what you tell me when you go through it, what do you want to take out? Like, I don't care what you take out. It's your business. I'm just telling you that, like, how do you not have those conversations with the buyer? Because they don't know these things. They don't remember these things. And they might remember it, but you guys, people fly and they tell you how to put your seatbelt on. They bought a house 5 years ago, 7 years ago. These people fly and they forget how to put their seatbelts on. These people get so antsy inside of an airplane. I have a lot of miles. People freak out inside of airplanes. What do you think happens when they have a 5% earnest money down and a super short contingency window? Their emotions get the better of them. So what you decide to take out and leave in is up to you, right? But I don't know what you take out, right? How do you ask for the commitment, right? It's a big thing, right? Talking about the lawsuits, talking about all the commissions, right? The different pillars. So what you have to do is you guys have to put a timer up, right? So here's how I role play with my team. We put timers up and they have to go through section by section in 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 minutes. And then if they're over, right? If they're over what I want them to be, I let the timer run. I'm like, cool, you were double the time. And they're like, holy crap, it felt so fast. I'm like, I know, it always feels fast. Right? It always feels fast. Yeah. What's up, brother?
I got a question / suggestion, I guess you could say. So in my previous life of software sales, a lot of times when you're kind of on the phone booking the appointment for the consultation, I would ask, like, hey, do you have a few more minutes right now? And kind of get some nuggets out of them, ask them some, discovery questions that will help me get more precise in my appointment. And if they gave me that time there, it helped me shave time off of the presentation itself. Or I would book a pre-appointment call, right? A phone conversation. So conversion happens in conversation. So this is not something that you want to do an email questionnaire or anything like that. But you kind of front load some of the items within the presentation, at least on a discovery standpoint, where we can kind of jump into the meat of things in the appointment. Would that work, that kind of a format?
So you can ask a couple of qualifiers after you book the appointment, and you're going to ask a couple of qualifiers while you're booking the appointment, right? You're going to get a decent amount of data from the prospect. You're going to have a basic understanding of their overarching goal, right? After you book the appointment, hey, just so that I'm prepared, right? Just so that I know what to bring. You said you just started the process. So have you been talking to any financial professionals? Or were you guys going to be more of like a cash offer? No, we just started the process. We haven't talked to anybody. Okay. So would it be helpful if I bring a list of my people and then I can give you somebody based off of the conversation? Sure. Right. Like you can ask certain questions. I wouldn't do a pre-call because a pre-call, we're just not designed for it in the real estate industry. So if you do a pre-call with them, they think it is the call. And so you're going to get stuck, and it's a shorter qualifying process, but it's a longer buying cycle. With tech sales, people are used to having those multiple touch points with their salesperson. So it doesn't transfer equally in the world that we live in. So I would do your outbound call, book the appointment. If you want to ask a couple of questions, you guys, but again, we have to ask ourselves the question that we're asking. We have to ask ourselves the question that we're asking. Why are we trying to shorten a process instead of just getting better at it? You're asking the wrong question. Vic, how do I speed this up? Well, you practice it more. You practice it section by section by section by section. And yes, there's a lot of things in there that you will take out naturally. If I gave you less, you would do even less. So I have to give you all because you're going to do less. So if I didn't give you guys extra, you would do even less, and then you would miss the point. You can't not tie down sections. And tie downs take time. But the tie downs is what makes them commit to you. All right. So just there's certain things you need to take out. There's certain things that you have to keep in. You need to play with that in your own market and what you're okay with and not okay with for your buyers to know. Like, what are you okay with them not knowing? And then take that out, and you don't need it.
Gotcha.
But remember, it's another question. Remember, to me, I would rather spend that extra 30 to 45 minutes on day one than chase people down and try to get them to give it to me. So if you have a rush process, just be like, hey man, we're probably gonna need about an hour, hour and a half. Why so long? And then you walk them through it, and then you guys go through it. Hey, if you guys throw your questions in the chat, then we might be able to stack questions together because it'll be easier. So if you put your question in the chat, it's easier to stack.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, man. You're not wrong, and sometimes you don't have the time. And so that's why you do need to know what you are willing to allow the person not to know. And once you figure that out, then it's like, cool, I delivered my mini and my full, but you've already laid the frame that there might be a secondary appointment. So if you guys put your questions in the chat, right? I mean, Sal, that sounds like that's a logistical truth.
I don't know, like what it is. I've gotten that objection the last 2 weeks from 4 different, and they all locked in at around like the 2 low 3s. So they all want to upgrade.
Why
and
do they
I've
want to upgrade?
a lot of it is space and having young families and the kids get older.
It's not space. Remember, what is it that the space does? What is it that the space does? Bro, you are locked into a 2.35, and you know what? It's probably not going to come back in my lifetime. And if it does, it's probably not a good thing. So we should all pray that it doesn't come back. Because if it comes back, that's probably bad, and we're probably trying to stimulate the economy, which means there's going to be a lot of fear, which means most people probably won't buy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you want that? No. So you're probably stuck in this house for the rest of your life then. And you need to tell your kids to shut the fuck up and get used to the small space. I wasn't going to say the F word, but the R got mistaken with the U, and it just came out. Didn't mean to. It just slipped. So that's why the overarching goal matters, and that's why it's the first thing we talk about. And you guys, don't be afraid of saying you're right. You're not going to get that rate, and you're not going to get that payment. You're not. It's not going to happen. It's logistically not going to happen. And if it does, it's probably something logistically we should all be we should be more nervous about the rates going to 2.5% again than we should be at buying at 5 or 6, which is a healthy market rate. We should be super scared that it goes to 2, 3, 4%. Because I'm telling you guys, looking from the outside in, if it goes down that low, there is problems brewing. And that is scary ass stuff that I don't want any of us to have to live through. So we should be happy where the rates are at. But with that being said, on the flip side, you have to get them back to their goal. Because what's more important, a couple $1,000 a month, or their kids having what?
That's where I gotta do better at diving in back there, because I'm straight with the numbers with them. I'm like, you're not gonna see that. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you you're gonna get a monthly payment around that with that interest rate. You're not.
You're never gonna use logic to break logic.
Right.
You use emotion to break logic. That's why the first thing we always do is overarching goal. What will the lack of space cause? If it doesn't cause any pain, then the lack of space doesn't matter, and they should just continue doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't have a buyer. And then you're like, cool, you're like a 3 out of 5. I'll call you in 6 months.
Right. When the pain gets bigger. Yeah, that's what I got to do better on the back end, tying it back after I lay down the numbers.
I think you guys are all trying to make the process easier instead of getting better. And I think you guys should all stop it. That's my answer to you guys all trying to make pre-questionnaire forms to give your buyer homework. There you go. That's my answer. I can't be any nicer about it. Like, how much have you practiced it in the last 45 days? If I know the buyer consultation better than you guys and I only look at it for 15 minutes before I do a call, shame on you. Just straight up. Shame on you. Like,
It's like a mix of emotional and logic questions. Like some of, like, we sprinkle in a couple, like, when's your birthday? What's your favorite, like, celebratory drink? You know what I mean? Like, we sprinkle in a couple of those, and then
when
also
should
like,
you do that with them?
that's a good question.
The buyer's consultation, maybe.
And
While
just,
you're-
I ain't
and
giving you
just
my
use that
birthday.
as,
I'm not giving you my birthday and or any personal information until I sit down and I use you.
yeah.
Once, I was going to say, once
But
trust.
they have been giving it to me, so.
I'm not sitting down and doing
Just
it.
because,
I'm not doing it. I don't know. You guys try shit out. I don't care. I'm not
Yeah.
doing a questionnaire with my birthday and my favorite celebratory drink on there. I'm like, what kind of whack job is this?
well, we
Like fucking
talked
nutcase
before,
over
they,
here. That's what I would think. You're trying
yeah.
out. I don't know your client. I'm just telling you me. You pull your people on school and
Yeah.
ask them what they would do. But remember, your
Okay.
people on school are all jaded because they all think that every idea is a great idea to not have to do work. So anything that we have to do a less difficult presentation and learn and study, I'm all in for. So let's try it out. Again, just do a good fucking presentation, you guys. I can't, like, you guys, look. Like, you guys make me do this, and I don't want to, but you guys force me to do this. Desktop 2, where's desktop 1? Desktop 1, okay, look. 1
Get
script,
ready,
2
guys.
scripts, 3 scripts, objections, sales resources, closers guides, right? That's just one set of tabs. I'm trying to figure out this set of tabs over here. Script, different reframes. This is a whole book for my team. You guys think I give you a lot? Like, this is a 110-page manual on sales. There's not one questionnaire in there. There's not one questionnaire in there. No, you can't get that. Not even, Daniel, you can definitely not get that. You got to pay me a ton more money after that call. That's a $50,000 page right there. You guys need to focus on what you're focusing on. Selling real estate is easier than selling sales training to realtors. Stop trying to make it easier. Just get better. And then it gets easier. No, it's not Amen. It's Amani. That's his last name. A-M-I-N-I. It's close, but you know.
It's my New Jersey accent. I work with them.
I have a question about deal of the week. If a lead responds via email, they want more info, but I cannot reach them on the phone for a conversation. What do? I went ahead and sent them the info, but the purpose of deal of the week is a conversation. You're exactly correct. Should I hold off an info until? So can you send them a voice memo?
Yes, I did. I tried multiple times to get hold of them, left a message, nothing. And I
What was your first text message?
it was, my first text message?
Yep.
I don't know, probably, hey, just trying to reach out to you. I'll give you information on the deal of the week. Are you available to chat?
Well, there you go.
So tell me what I did wrong. It was
It's not
salesy.
wrong. It's just what can we, so remember, you guys, the framework and mindset is curiosity, right?
Mhm.
So it's not what you did wrong. First off, big effing round of applause to Jill, everybody, for doing deal of the week. Like, yo, Jill, good work.
Yep, I got 3 responses. I just did my first one. Second one's going out today.
Yeah, baby. Good work. So first off, praise yourself. Secondly, we want to always think from curiosity. So what would be the question you would ask on a phone call? Don't help her, you guys.
What was it about this information that's still weak that kind of intrigued you?
Bingo, baby. Send that out.
What now?
Send that out.
Okay.
Hey, Jill, I tried to give you a call to get a hold of you. I'll definitely get you all the information to the property. I was just kind of curious, what's got you reaching out in the first place? Like right? What's got you reaching out about this in the first place? Or how would this be different than where you're currently at?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jill, I'll get you all the information. I was just curious, like, how would a property like this be how would a property like this, I guess, be different than where you're currently at?
And if I still don't get a response, at what point? Because
just keep sending them shit and see if they keep responding. Right?
Okay.
Don't send them the address. Send them all the pictures.
Okay,
send them everything
so
else.
don't send them the information until
No,
I'm
send
back.
them everything but the address.
Okay.
Like you guys,
Cool.
you guys got to play the game. Hey, here's all the information. Let them see that there's no address. Here's the pictures. Here's the info. Here's the price. Here's my phone number. Forget to send the address and just have the address and have it like blank. Show the address and be like, oh, that's weird. It didn't copy the address. I apologize. Play dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Try it out. See what happens. They're not your client though at this point. So
Right.
like you pissing them off is fine because they're not responding anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Good question.
Thank you.
Like it. Really good question. And keep doing the deal of the week.
I was gonna say too, Jill. I do this sometimes too. If I get a lead that's unresponsive, sometimes I'll call from a different number, just to see.
Yeah, I have multiple numbers. Unfortunately, they all say the same thing though, so you guys know. Daniel, so did you do a buyer consultation?
No, this was a friend.
Daniel, did you do a buyer consultation?
No, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah.
It was a repetitive question on purpose.
You need a better answer,
Yeah.
Daniel.
Did you do a
Yeah,
buyer
I-
consultation?
They came out of nowhere. They said, we want to go. And I went.
What's your process
And we
now?
want to do a buyer's consultation.
There you go.
But in the event that this happened, do you have an answer for that or not?
Buyer consultation. You need to re-strategize. You need to call you don't have to call it a buyer consultation. We need to have a strategy session. We need to re-strategize. We need to call we need to have what's it called in football where you change the plays?
A huddle.
No, that's the first thing you should have done, but you didn't do the huddle. So now what do we have to do?
Audible.
I need to do an audible. We're on the field. We need to call an audible. Why? Because what we're doing isn't working and the defense is watching our play. So now we need to call an audible. Right? So if you can't call an audible, then you're not going to get what you want. And then you're going to keep chasing them and hoping that they come back to you. But we got to call audibles. And this is where audible re-strategy, right? Re-strategize.
And if I can, Daniel, I was in a similar situation with that where somebody came to me after not getting the home that they wanted. They were working with a previous agent. I just went ahead and just made that the catalyst home.
It just backfired because nothing matched it.
It only backfires if you think it backfires. You guys, I lived in Seattle. You know how much prices went up every month when I sold real estate? Every month in Bellevue. Take a guess.
2% monthly?
3%. 7%.
That'd be crazy. 1 to 3%.
3.
I mean, houses would literally be double the price like a year and a half later. Like $600,000 to $900,000 like the following year. You have two choices, guys. We buy a home or we don't. Because if you didn't like the homes at 900,000, you're not going to like them next year at $1.2 million. Christina, buyer consultation. So that's where you have to sit down with people. Hey man, let's go grab coffee. He's your friend. Hey man, let's go grab coffee. Stop shopping, go get coffee. Cool. What are we talking about? Shop and coffee. All right, sounds good. I'll see you there. What time? Shouldn't be that hard. What's going on? Nothing. Can we talk shop? Yeah. Rates just dropped. Oh, did they? Yeah. There's probably going to be an additional 4 to 6 million buyers in the market in the next 6 to 12 months or 6 to 12 weeks. Where do you think prices are going? Up. Ooh, yeah, didn't think about that one. So if you didn't like the houses at 900, are you going to like them at 1.1? No. Okay. Why are we looking for homes then? Like, why don't we just put this on the back burner, chop it up, and you guys stay where you're at? It's called a no question, right? So we're letting them tell us, well, no, that can't happen. Why? It can happen. It's happening. It's been happening for the last year and a half. Why can't it continue to happen? Because we have X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you've been living with X, Y, and Z for the last year and a half. Why don't you just keep living with X, Y, and Z? The same thing for you, Sal. Because if we don't get X, Y, and Z covered, then blah, blah, blah happens. Oh, are you not okay with X, Y, and Z happening? No, why not? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what do you think we should do? Because we're not going to get that house ever again. So do you think we might need to go out and look for a new Catalyst home? I think we should. Are you sure? Yes. Because I don't want to just like be out there looking at homes. Like I want to write offers for you to move into. Like we don't show homes, we win houses for our clients. So are you sure this is something you guys are actually wanting to do? Do you want to go home and think about it, take some time? No, I don't need to think about it. Are you sure? No, we've thought about it enough. Okay, let's get to work. You're probably going to need to watch that a couple of times to get that framework. We have to be okay with letting people go. We have to be okay with telling people the truth. We are not here to make people buy or sell real estate. We are here to give them the best possible decisions that will help them make the best possible decisions. Fair? Are you guys,
Love that.
are we okay letting people that aren't even our clients actually go back into the ethers and bug somebody else and waste their time?
Yes.
Edwin, you're not okay with it?
At a point.
What's the point?
Where I've exhausted my.
Okay. So, but Daniel's exhausted his people. Daniel's exhausted with these people. It's not a one-off. You guys, just so you guys know, none of you guys have one-off scenarios. Anybody else have the same situation that Daniel has where the buyers saw a home on their own and they blah, blah, blah. You just haven't sold enough real estate. When you sell a lot of real estate, you realize all these situations have happened dozens of times. They happen every single day. And it all happens because of what? We didn't do a
Buyer consult. Yeah.
all these things come up in a buyer consult. Maybe I'm missing a couple of things, right? I doubt it. Buyer consult's pretty stacked. You probably don't need to talk about everything in the buyer consult, but if you've never done the buyer consult, you don't know what to take away. So if you ask me what you should take away, you should take away trying to make it easier and just get better. That's what I would tell you. I can't make it easier for you guys. I can make you stronger, but you have to do the work. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm asking 30 minutes a day so you guys can go make $300,000 to $500,000 extra a year, if not more. Jan, how much money have you made in the last 12, 18 months because of Triz?
Am I supposed to answer that?
Probably not, or you should. I don't care. It's your finances.
Too much. Thank you.
Ballpark it.
Hundreds of thousands. Thank you.
His last vacation, he was drunk and he calls me. He's like, hey, sponsored by Triz. And he's got a swim up pool in the middle of Mexico. And I was like, that's nice. And I got to finally talk to his wife, right? Jan was a student of the game. He still studies it. He texted us last 2, 3, 4, I guess it's been 5 weeks now. And he goes, bro, I've been getting smoked on listings. Oh, Kim, he did that in his first 45 days. Yeah, you guys want to ask questions? I'll give you answers. Right? I'll give you the answers. You can't make this. Jan studied. He's got 3 daughters that are under 8 years old. He runs 2 businesses. And he also did 13 million in transactions when I met him. He was very busy. He made the time. He didn't make excuses. He brought call recordings to every single call. He didn't make excuses. Right? We can make excuses or we can make shit happen, but we can't do both. Everybody wants the magic pill. I told you what the magic pill is. It's the portal, module 2, module 4, module 5. You need to go through module 3 once, maybe twice, to really understand some stuff. And then you'll see that play out in module 2, module 4, and module 5. But I can't make it easier for you guys. You set up the referral process the first time you talk to them. All right, guys. One more question, then I got to bounce. If the prospect is like 1 or 2 years before they move because of the down payment, yes. Because you're not doing it for them at this point, you're doing it to get reps. Anybody here's calendar so busy that they can't afford to do an extra buyer consultation in a week? Oh, okay, just making sure.
Go ahead, Jen.
I was just gonna say, like, something that changed my mindset on buyer consultations was, in the beginning, I was complaining to Vic, like, how hard it would be to do the whole presentation. And he was like, dude, I could do the presentation with a manila folder and 3 agreements and a coffee.
And a case study.
And a case study. I was like, damn, all right, I could do that. And so that's what I did. I just started doing the 3 agreements, then add some market reports, then you just keep adding on and adding on. But if you can just do the 3 agreements in the seller universe, you're better than 99% of other agents.
And a
just
case
that.
study.
And a case study, you know? So.
But that means you got to build the case study.
Yeah, you do have to do that. But just, sit down with people, have some frameworks to go through, and you'll surprise yourself.
You guys are you guys see in the chat, everybody's so concerned about the deal of the week. You guys should be learning, hey, Jan, how did you memorize the buyer consult and the listing presentation in 45 days? Ask better questions, get better results. You guys see what you're focused on in the chat? You're focused on trying to get it easier instead of getting better. It's not easy. That's why most people fail. The reason I'm being tough is because these questions we shouldn't be asking. You guys had an opportunity for 45 minutes to ask me some of the most tactical questions out there. But I can't answer questions because nobody's doing the work on the buyer presentation. And so unfortunately, the problems you guys are having are all wrapped up in the buyer consultation. Like, how many of you guys have actually read the buyer consultation? Good. Print it up and stick it on your toilet. The next time you guys are going to take a dump, instead of scrolling memes from your friends and Instagram and watching TikTok, read the buyer consultation step by step, one section at a time. And then have the buyer consultation on your pillow. And before you go to bed, instead of scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, I'm promising you guys, perfection doesn't exist. My shit's full of typos. Everything I write has got typos up the yin-yang. They all got typos. And then when I wanted to read how I talk. And I wanted to read how I talk. What I would rather you guys doing instead of perfecting all of the marketing stuff is learn how to, like what Jan said. I forgot I gave you that advice, Jan. Learn how to take a case study and take every bullet point of the 14, 16 points of the buyer consultation. Learn how to use a bullet point in 3 sheets. You need the 3 agreements. You need a calendar. You need a case study, which you're going to have to build. You might need 2. And you're going to need a sheet that shows kind of like your phased approach. You can steal the pricing sheet from your listing presentation. So you have 6 sheets, maybe 7 or 8 sheets. And everything that we talk about in the buyer consult, you can explain in those 7 or 8 sheets. You guys are worried about SOPs and shit. I still don't got SOPs. I still don't got SOPs, you guys. You guys are worried about SOPs. I'm worried about making $10 million. Like, you need to know how, oh my God, this guy's about to get run over. You guys need to know how to do the presentation. Because your SOPs aren't going to ever be the way you want them until you guys have the presentation down and you've done it enough times that you actually know what matters. Don't change language until you've done 1,000 calls. So this was a conversation about buyers, not about marketing. But do you see what the chat talked about? Some of you guys go to way too many calls a month. Put the dopamine away. 30 minutes every morning, practice one section. Get that section. Practice one more section. You guys, we're grown adults in this room. There's no reason why we need to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 months to go through a 15-page document. It's size 14 font, because I know we're old. Size 14. Oh my God, this guy had a motorcycle, and the motorcycle went to pull over, and the guy just drove away. Gotta love Colombia. I love this. So good. So wild. So just remember that you can't get better until you get better, and you can't make it easier. You can just get better. You can't make the weight lighter. You can just get stronger. And you can't have other people do your heavy lifting. You have to do it yourself. Okay? Are we good with that, you guys? And if you don't believe me, legitimately, Jan every day when he drove to work, when he went to pick up the kids, when he did this, when he had the presentations in the background playing. I didn't even know that our old platform had an app. Jan figured it out. Like, I didn't know we had an app, you guys, on our old platform. Jan's like, you know you have an app? And I'm like, really? It's like, how do you know? He's like, that's how I listen to the presentations when I'm on my way to a presentation. Like, I was in 3 different communities and I only listened to it on my computer. And I was like, man, I really wish there was an app. And Jan was like, there's an app. So you just got to go do it, right? Some of you have been in this program for too long to not have that basic strategy structure down, right? Let's get it down between 10. Now and next week, you guys can go through it. If I was a 17-year-old that smoked a lot of pot and drank every day, I could memorize a 47-page Cutco document at 17. At 17, phone script, outbound. We also had a 50-page doc to sell and down drop and all the different things. The company, I can tell you what year the company was built, right? 1949. You know, I know because it was our 50th year anniversary in 1999. Like, give you the address of the factory. Why? Because I had to memorize it. I'm 43 and I memorized it at 17. It took me 3 days to memorize it. I was 17 and I smoked weed every day. Big old fat 2-gram blunts. So I had to sell a lot of Cutco because I had an expensive weed habit. You guys as adults can find the time to be the professional that you say you are. I'm going to go hard on the paint with this. Because 80% of your conversations that you guys are having right now, or the questions that you guys have, are covered in that masterfully placed document that's in your guys' school portfolios. And all you have to do is go and listen. Like, listen and read and say it out loud. Listen and read and say it out loud. And then all you have to do is say it out loud and then say it out loud and then say it out loud and then say it out loud. And you're going to stumble through your first 10. But after that, you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe we put this off for so long. Vic's an idiot, but somewhat of a genius. And it's not even a genius. It's just, I put the time to put it together. You have to put the time to put it together for you. Fair, fair? Pinky promises? Eric, I didn't see your pinky go up. Eric, I'm watching you. All right, you guys. Do it together. Don't just work on the phone, you guys. You guys don't just work on your phones and your role plays. Like, I know you guys have like other groups outside of our big group. Don't just work on the phone. Like, work on the buyer presentations. Like, work on different pieces of the entire process. So it's not just one thing after the other. Okay, I gotta go, guys. I'm really, bye.
Recording.
I can't not let you share. Like, you're just like, you're like in the camera. You're like, let me go. So you're up.
Yeah, so this is more TRIS related, but I have so enjoyed using the TRIS conversation with other agents on the other side of deals. And I am finding it so powerful in diffusing situations and making deals come together with those other agents.
Give everyone who's brand new here. Like kind of like what happened? Like, you know, again, because we have some new people. Like Teresa's new, Christina's new to the program. Like, what? Like, set some context for them so they understand kind of like what you mean.